Hey everyone, Dave here to let you know that we are doing some live shows in March and April 2025. Matt is doing his show Bad Boy at the Adelaide Fringe at the Rhino Room, where he's also doing a live Who Knew It with Matt Stewart. Then we're both doing our stand-up shows at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Matt is on at Spleen, and I'm at the Improv Conspiracy with Sammy Peterson in our show, Dave Warnicky Dates the Entire Audience. And this is a new announcement. We are also doing a Do Go On, The Quiz Show, live at the Festival Club, one night only, Wednesday, April 2nd at 11 p.m. It's going to be huge with great guests from across the festival. Come out late and hang out with us, even though it's a school night. It's going to be so much fun. You can get tickets to all of these shows right now at dogoonpod.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnicky, and as always, I'm here with Jess Perkins and Matt Stewart.
Hello.
Hello. So good to be here.
Keeping the pleasantries brief this week, I see.
Good to see you.
And you.
Well, great to have you here, I guess.
Some people early on said one of the strengths of Do Go On is our obvious friendship, and to them I say, how dare you? We are cordial, and that is it.
We are fantastic actors.
That's right. We are Australia's best actors. Step aside, Hugo Weaving. Step aside, Miranda Otto. I'm thinking of Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
Step aside.
David Wenham.
Oh my God, there's quite a few in that.
There's a couple of them.
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
What?
Liv Tyler, we'll take her.
Filmed in.
Are we claiming Liv Tyler now? That's pretty good.
Oliver Bloom. He's basically one of us.
Oliver Bloom?
Oliver Bloom. We'll take all of him.
We'll take all of Orlando Bloom.
Orlando. Orlando.
Well, he
Bloom.
was married to Miranda Kerr, who is Australian.
Oh my God. Miranda.
So he's basically one of ours.
My best connection was he's now married to Katy Perry, and she performed at the AFL Grand Final, but
Okay.
he was also married to an Australian person.
We're connected to this guy all over the place.
Yeah, we'll take Katy Perry.
Love this guy.
Wow, what an absolute treat to be here.
We'll take Katy Perry and we'll put her in a bin. Oh, sassy.
Dude, what the fuck?
I'm sorry about that.
This is a pro Katy Perry podcast.
Yeah, we love KP.
Do we? We do we? Okay. Sorry. Thought that would be a funny thing to say, but it wasn't. And
it was particularly funny on a big delay.
I apologise.
I think factoring in the delay plus your brain, it was about 6 months after we'd stopped talking about Katy Perry.
As a world, it's more than 6 months, mate.
She'll be back.
She'll be back.
She'll be back.
There's no greater sign of someone climbing up the zeitgeist than doing the AFL Grand Final.
Yeah. That's a peak.
You know that they're choosing between the Super Bowl and the AFL Grand Final. Mm-hmm. Gonna have to go AFL. The G just holds more.
The G probably, the AFL Grand Final probably pays.
Yeah, that's right. The Super Bowl, you don't get paid, do you?
No, you don't.
That's true.
So,
yeah, you do get paid by AFL pretty well, I think.
So I think actually she's just a savvy businesswoman.
She's a boss bitch, if I could put it into terms that I understand.
She's a girl boss, that's for sure. That is for sure.
Girl
what
boss
I was
is
trying,
what I
yeah, boss bitch also works, but feels weird from you. What I was trying to do was segue into explaining the show.
Do you want me to do that? Because you're going to do the report.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were doing the report.
No.
My laptop is open in front of me. Yes,
God.
you please explain.
What we do here is we take it in turns to report on a topic often suggested to us by one of the listeners. We go away, do a bit of research, bring it back to the group in the form of a high school style report. The other two people listen cordially.
This could be primary school, this one.
Okay. Setting the bar low.
I wrote this with a migraine.
On the weekend,
So it's hard to say what's in this and if it's English.
Oh, wow.
We'll see.
It's a primary school report on the culture of Japan.
That's right.
Studying Japanese currently.
Yeah, do you have migraines in Japanese?
Not Japanese. Italiano. Thank you very much.
Mamma mia.
Now, it is Jess's turn to report. and she's going to start by asking us a question to get us onto topic. Now, little peek behind the curtain here. Jess did say off mic that she's very proud of this question. Could be her best ever.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You'll probably hate it. I don't like but I enjoy it.
Love it.
Here we go. It's a two-parter. Part 1. What is the name of a cube toy, the aim of which is to end up with all the same color? I hear Rubik's from Matt.
Rubik's Cube?
Rubik's is what I needed, but correct. Part 2.
I think technically the toy is called the Rubik's Cube.
Rubik's Cube, sure. Rubik's Cube is correct. So this is what I mean. I'm enjoying this.
Okay, sorry. This is fun. Sorry, I forgot this is fun.
Hey, Dave,
Part 2.
I'm on delay. How am I jumping in early than you? I think we should let the audience know that I'm in Adelaide, and that's how much quicker than Dave I was just then. We're half an hour behind you.
I let you jump in and sort of fuck yourself up, which you did by not saying cube. Then I come in, I take the glory. That's my strategy.
I knew she was looking for Rubik's, okay? Just because I'm ahead of the game doesn't mean I'm behind the game.
Okay, for this attitude, I think Bob, who keeps track of all this, Dave got the correct answer.
Thank you, Rubik's
Great.
Cube.
So that was part 1. Part 2,
Asterisk.
a duck doesn't walk, it...
Waddles.
Okay,
Quacks.
very good. 2 points there for Dave.
Rubik's Cube waddles.
And today's report
It's on
is
Rubik's Cube bottles.
about baseball star Rube Waddell.
See what you've done there.
Okay.
Bit of fun.
Rubik's Cube Waddles.
Rubik's Cube Waddle.
That's his full name.
That's right, as we'll get to. This is a topic that's been suggested by a lot of people, including Moritz from Germany, Sam Sutherland from Montreal, Sam Long from Seymour, Wisconsin, Dan Copeland from Indianapolis, Alan Cameron from Memphis, Robert Gibbons from Dublin, Benjamin Whittingham from Liverpool, Cammy Jameson from Houston, Jacob Thompson from Perth, and Ruby O'Day from Richmond, Victoria. So lots of people have suggested this topic. Either of you heard of Rube Waddell?
Yes, I've done him on that sleep podcast.
Do you remember any of it? Because
No.
recently we did a report and you had done the entire story and had no recollection of
I
it.
have no recollection of this guy at all. It's so funny because I saw a post about him the other day. Someone saying this is such a wild story, and I'm like, I recognize this name. And then I searched through my my Hatch folder, and I'm like, oh, I did this story. I don't remember a thing about it. I'm like, how wild could this story be? Not memorable at all, I'd say.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, your voice is so powerful in that podcast. You put yourself to sleep and then you just walk through your whole report. It's incredible. Honestly, it's incredible.
I'm actually not sure Matt's woken up from that
You're
podcast.
still asleep, buddy.
What? Huh?
What? What's that?
Change the channel, Marge.
I think this is also one of those ones that, because it's been suggested a few times, I've seen it in the hat. But I just know it's a crazy baseballer is kind of the feeling I've got from the pitch, maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
Pitch. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
I thought
Dave,
you were
did
doing that on purpose because
purpose?
he is a pitcher.
Oh no, I didn't do that.
And Dave is the pun master, as proven once again.
He can't be stopped.
That's right, but a master works for a king. Matt,
Is that true?
Behind every master is an even greater king.
I don't know if that's anything.
So I'm excited because it sounds like it's going to be a bit of fun.
It is a fun one, and there's quite a few resources on him. And if you're a big sort of baseball nut, you probably already know this name or know his story, but there's a lot of juicy stuff you could go and really explore. I don't know heaps about baseball, so I haven't exactly gone a game for game breakdown of a bunch of terms I don't understand. This is more like, here's his early life and how he started in baseball, and here's some crazy antics.
I want to know what was happening when they were 4 down in the second.
I don't
Whatever that means.
I don't understand any of it.
What does that mean?
I think if there's 3 down, you're out. So 4 down.
Well, 4 down, it's gone really badly.
I think
Yeah.
the downs actually you might be talking about American football.
So
Oh,
just,
I don't
We're
know.
a sports
Obviously-
podcast.
when they
I
get
know
a touchdown in
slightly more
baseball,
than
how many
Dave, I
points do
guess.
they get?
Okay, so George Edward Waddell, mostly growing up referred to as Eddie, was born on October 13, 1876, one source noting that it was Friday the 13th.
Oh dear.
Ooh. Is he going to be
Everyone-
spooky?
Yeah, he's pretty spooky. Spooky talented. He He was born just outside the small farming town of Bradford, Pennsylvania. His parents were John Waddell and Mary Ford Waddell, who had 4 other children. Other sources say 5 other children. So 4 or 5 siblings.
Wow. So that his mum's name had Ford in it and the town had Ford in it? Were they like a big in the town or something?
Bradford, Pennsylvania and Mary Ford. I reckon her dad... No, I'm with you.
Okay, great.
Her dad, Ford,
Yep.
founded the town with his mate, Brad.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yes. I'm
And they're like,
with
we're not
you
going to
there.
call it Ford Brad. That sounds
That sounds silly. What about Bradford? I don't like your name going first, but it does sound better.
Does sound better. Yeah.
What are we naming our town?
Just Dave.
Yeah, you can't call it Dave Jess. It's crazy.
What about Matt? Matt's not in the town?
Oh, the
you
Matt's
can visit.
silent. Yeah.
Silent Matt. The Matt is in brackets.
You
have to write
wish
it,
the
though.
Matt was silent.
God. Most days, yeah. His father, John, worked for the oil industry in Bradford and moving to find better work led the Waddell family to Prospect, Pennsylvania, where they lived most of their lives.
I mean, it sounds like a good place to move if you're trying to strike it rich.
Prospect?
So, he wanted to get a better job. He was working in the oil industry. Mate, that's about to boom. Stick it out.
I think he was still in the oil industry.
Well, he listened to my advice.
And good on him.
Good on you.
That's how he supported his family. Biographer Alan Levy wrote that Waddell was a decidedly different sort of child. At the age of 3, he wandered over to a local fire station and stayed there for several days.
Sorry, what?
Okay.
No one called his parents.
When questioned by Mr. Waddell, the Bradford fireman shrugged. Well, Mr. Waddell, he just wandered in a few days ago and seemed to like it here. He's a 3-year-old.
Can't
Like, surely
argue
they'd
with
be a bit worried.
So he's 3 years old.
He's 3 years old, he's wandered off. The parents are probably a bit distressed, and the firefighter's like, but he's happy, he's all right.
Are they serving him food?
Yeah, I'm sure. He's just curled up under a table or something. They're like, oh, he loves it. He's not a fucking stray cat, it's a toddler. What are you doing?
People will be worried.
Are they like they're squirting the hose into his mouth at huge pressure?
My dog's favourite summer activity. I'm sure 3-year-olds like it too.
Honestly,
I mean,
yeah.
Goose is 4, but I'm sure he enjoyed it at 3 too.
Yeah. Well, he's a human 3. I think dog's 4 is a human 3. Is that about right?
Oh,
Intelligence-wise?
Intelligence-wise, yeah. So as a child, he did okay in school despite hardly ever attending.
He was at the fire station.
His sister was quoted as saying, you're not wrong. His sister was quoted as saying, he often missed school, but I could always find him playing ball, fishing, or following a fire engine.
He is a dog.
Just on foot.
Yeah. Fire trucks were one of Waddell's obsessions, and he would hear sirens and run after the trucks all the way to the fire to help put it out.
Isn't that a dog thing? Don't dogs chase after fire engines?
I think
and
cartoon
sirens and
dogs
stuff?
do, yeah.
Cartoon dogs. Well, they're the ones I'm most familiar with.
Yeah. Yeah. So, is the big reveal that he is actually a dog?
Oh my God, he's a little
We'll
dog.
find out.
He's a
Well,
little
there's
dog.
nothing in the rule book that says.
I was really hoping for it to be a fun twist and like and did I forget to mention? He's actually a border collie.
Imagine I'd done a whole recording about it and I forgot that twist.
He's actually a dog.
And it sounds like these firefighters are the kind of people that would let him put out the fire. I don't care, he's only 6 years old.
Yeah, that's fine.
He seemed happy to be going into the burning building
Yeah.
and pulling out the other survivors.
Hey, he was doing a good job. I didn't give him a mask to wear or anything, but he's all right.
He's fine. We didn't have one that fit him. He's too small.
He's too tiny. He's a child. We don't have child firefighters. That's
That would be
crazy.
crazy. That'd be dangerous.
Anyway,
He might suffocate in the mask.
we can't have that. I can't be liable for that. So this long-standing fascination with fire trucks would be a recurring theme throughout his adult life. So keep that in the back of your brain somewhere. He didn't have much baseball training throughout his life, but he had a very strong, muscular body from farming, mining, and drilling and helping out in the family farm.
And running after fire.
And running after fire. He had great cardio.
Incredible calves.
All this physical work led to him developing a huge physique. Levy writes that by the time he was 13, he could plough with 2 mules, a measurement we are all supposed to understand.
Oh, I could play with 2 mules. Bloody
Don't the
hell.
mules do the work for you?
Maybe you're supposed to have more mules,
Or
and
is
he
he-
only needed 2.
Is he like one of those strong men that sort of straps 2 mules to his back and like can plow with them on his back?
Yeah, I think if you're trying to like talk up how someone is physically very fit and very strong, just say that. Just say he was really strong. Even by the age of 13, he had the strength of 2 men. Not like he could plow with 2 mules. What the fuck does that mean?
Well, I
I'm a
think,
city girl.
No, I like that. I think I think that tell it to me in terms I can understand, mule terms, ideally. I'm picturing it like, you normally you're like the mule's going along, right? And it's dragging the plow behind it. I'm picturing he's able to control 2 of those at once. Like a guy driving 2 cars somehow.
Doing the splits in between
Doing the
them.
splits between 2, yeah. I think, that's how I'm picturing it. And I guess that would be, take mental strength as much as anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't explain his physical strength.
But I mean, you've got horsepower, famous, we know that.
Yes.
Mule power.
Mule
He's
power.
got 2 mule power. He's got 2 mph.
So I'm glad
2
we're
mules.
all on board
2 mules per hour.
that this 13-year-old's freakishly strong, 2 mules per hour.
What's he doing to those 2 mules in an hour, Dave?
Whatever he wants. They've got no say. He is so strong.
That is strong. Now I understand how strong he is.
Stubborn as a mule, not when this guy's around. That's how strong he is.
I think we've gotten lost. I think
do
we've gotten
whatever
lost
else.
to this.
You can take a mule to water, but you can't make it drink. Well, Rube can.
Wait,
Rube can.
he can make him get in.
He can make him go for a bloody dip.
Yeah.
We don't like to. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Get in there. You stink.
Okay, Rube.
Throwing bars of soap at him.
All right, so he's a strong boy.
Very strong. And more importantly, it was during his farming that he truly honed his throwing ability.
Throwing bars of soap.
During spring ploughing, crows would pick at the seeds planted by farmers, and young Waddell took to doing his farming with rocks in his pockets to pelt at the birds.
You just have a piff.
Yeah, he'd have a piff say, "Get out of it! Get out of it!" That's the Australian version. I don't know what they would have said in the early 19 or late 1800s in the US, but in Australia it would be "Get out of it."
Oi.
That's
Oi. Hey. Oi. Get out of it. Oi. Nah. No.
Cut it out!
No.
No, cut it out! Get out of it!
Cut
No.
it out. Get out of it. I love that.
Beautiful language, beautiful
I love
culture.
it. It's beautiful.
So he grew quite adept at throwing stones and shooting guns at the crows. He was an oddity in that he could throw well with either hand. He shot a gun right-handed but threw with his left hand. And later in baseball, he would pitch left-handed and bat right-handed.
with a gun?
With a gun. He would bat. Yeah, they tried to hand him a baseball bat. He said, "I'm good. I'm okay." So when the Waddell family moved to Prospect, they had easy access to Butler. It was the largest city in the area. They were a bit closer to the big city. Waddell's early days saw him struggle socially. Other kids didn't want to play ball with him as he threw so hard it stung their hand.
Oh, wow.
He's very strong. He throws very fast.
And he also throws bees. And they didn't like that.
I'm allergic to bees. I am burning through EpiPens with this guy.
He keeps just yelling, "Go long." Throws a bee. He calls it the stinger.
He throws a bee 40 feet. It's insane.
It would be really hard to piff a bee.
Yes. Yeah.
If
That's
they
how
weren't
strong
on
he is.
board, Like if you're working with them, they could do a lot of the work just flapping along. But if you were but that's again, he can convince a mule, he can convince a bee.
Yeah. He's one with the creatures.
Yeah, next time you see a bee flying, I threw that.
That was because of me. I did that.
It's going where I told it to.
Bees kind of need they need help. They can't just take off by themselves. They need
That's right.
they need a launch.
But once they're going,
Oh, they're fine.
Yeah.
But they can't launch.
They're like a kid learning to ride a bike.
Yeah. We are bee training wheels.
Yeah, most bees, they have, Rube's running after him going, "No, I've still got you. I've still got you."
Yeah. You're doing it. That's all you. That's all you. Keep going.
That's all you.
I distinctly remember taking the training wheels off my bike and riding straight into a hedge. Where was Dad?
well, my parents got me a secondhand bike that was too big for me to get on and off. But they were like, he'll grow into it. So to get off the bike for like the first year of having the BMX, I had to find a bush or something, pull up next to it, and then just fall into it. That's how I got off. That's how I got off.
I was going to say.
It felt awesome.
And how did you dismount the bike?
No seat on that bike.
It felt so good.
Anyway, so the other kids don't want to play with him because he's throwing bees at them and the bees are stinging him.
Yeah, right.
Nevertheless, his raw skill landed him a spot on the Butler team. So he's playing baseball now. Often he would be absent from games without notice. Once a friend pulled up near first base in a buggy and held out a fishing line, asking if Waddell wanted to join. Waddell happily obliged and walked off the mound, leaving mid-game. He's quite cute, this guy. He's kind of like, I'm almost imagining like a friendly ogre type, just kind of like
Friendly
you can sort of
ogre.
easily distract him, and he's like, oh, he's very tall. Yeah, he's that kind of.
Shiny thing.
You are
Yeah.
that. Yep, you're not wrong.
An
Yes.
oafish sort of.
Oafish, yes,
Harmless oaf.
yes.
Is
I love
that,
that. And
isn't it? There's. Didn't you tell a story of one like is Mice and Men, Dave? One of your book cheat episodes. Does that have like the big guy? And that was like a big friendly guy, right?
oh yes, Lenny.
Lenny.
He's got a Lenny
Yes.
vibe.
Yeah, doesn't know his own strength,
Yeah.
but it's very well meaning.
Yes. I would say that feels, in reading about this guy, it feels that sort of vibe. But also, it's interesting because obviously a lot of the writing about him, there was a lot of writing at the time, but more people reflecting on it now, people just kind of think quite fondly of him because he's this sort of like, not hapless, but he's just sort of like, he gets up to all sorts of things while being a professional baseball player. And people are kind of like, oh, I just love this guy. Like, he's very good at baseball, but he's also just like, he just gets into some crazy stuff. And I talk about this later, but maybe it's worth mentioning early that through like modern writers and through a modern lens, people kind of go, okay, he probably, it seems like some sort of intellectual disability or autism or ADHD or a combination of the three, but none of that kind of existed or was diagnosed or recognized or anything back then. So through a modern lens, you kind of go, I can see where he's sort of being pulled into different things and he's like, he is easily distracted and off he goes and does something. But it certainly seems like people call him like they liken him to Forrest Gump a little bit.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, of just kind of like he's doing a lot of things, he's quite good at things, he's pretty well-meaning and he just wants to help people and he gets up to all sorts of antics.
Love it.
It's that
Runs
sort
from
of
one
character.
adventure to another.
Yeah, totally. And it's a bit of fun.
Oh, great.
So yeah, he left to go fishing. That happened, I think, on multiple occasions.
Again, we don't know much about baseball, but I do think first base, that seems like that's an important position. I've heard of that one.
Okay.
And he's just gone, see ya.
Ah, and off he wanders. And they're like, no, come back. He's off.
Eddie, Rube.
Eddie. So in 1896, this is a great sentence. A travelling salesman noticed Waddell's talent and signed him up to join the local Iron and Oil League. And I was like, what? What's a travelling salesman got to do with it? But back in the day, because travelling salesmen were already on the road so much, and this is like, we're talking minor leagues or like just like community team type things. It was just sort of like, if you spot any good talent, let us know.
Right. If you're near a baseball field, see anyone good,
Yeah.
sign them up.
Sign them up, let us know. Because they're already on the road, so rather than sending out scouts, you're just using people who are already travelling anyway.
That's really
It feels
So I
like
was like,
that's
this makes no sense.
you'd assume that doesn't really happen anymore in sport. You don't think like they're pretty well organised, but you still hear about it with like models and actors. Oh, I was discovered, and it's in America, so I never know what the things mean. But yeah, I was discovered in a JC Penney's. Oh,
Yes. They're always at a mall.
what? Yeah. Yeah,
I was just having lunch and got a business card and now I'm
it's always like a teenager, often teenage girls, and it's a middle-aged person coming up to them and going, it's such a bizarre thing to be acceptable. Wouldn't you, if you're there with your parents are like, oh, boy, mate, what the hell do you think you're doing?
a middle-aged person coming over to my teenager and being like, you are so beautiful.
It's so weird.
So pretty.
Look how long and thin you are.
I'd like to take pictures of you, so pretty. What the
I can
fuck?
imagine you walking up and back and looking
Wow.
fantastic.
Do you like to put on nice clothes? What are you talking about? Leave my child alone.
Would you like to come with me?
You could be a star.
Well, that's so weird. But then you're right. You do hear about actual superstar people are discovered that way. So, you know, it obviously has worked out for some.
That's why I go to shopping centres so much.
Yeah, you're always
Just waiting.
there.
Just cruising up
Just
and down.
waiting. In my Sunday best.
And you
Looking
strut
real
as well,
nice.
don't you?
Oh, of course. Or sometimes, because you hear it for actors, not just models, so sometimes I just do a little scene. You know, just
Monologue in the food court.
to show my range.
Yeah, but you're getting a reputation as a real Karen, but they're all pieces that you're doing to the manager.
Yes, it's a character.
This is a character to the manager. May I speak to the manager? And scene.
Yeah.
You're always doing that.
Yeah. So any day now.
Spielberg
Just
will be
waiting for
there.
a travelling salesman to spot me.
That's so funny.
Doesn't George Lucas is hanging out in food courts a lot, if I believe a photo I've seen a bunch of times.
Was he having a soup or
Have
something?
you seen George Lucas in a food court? You seen that, Pop?
I think I have.
Well, you got to get to that food court, Popper.
I got to find that fucking food court.
Yeah, that's how he cast Jar Jar Binks, wasn't he? Saw Jar Jar walking through.
And thought, now that's
God.
interesting.
I think Jar
That's
Jar Binks,
interesting.
he saw him ordering miso soup and and he said, I've got an idea.
That might be one of the worst things you've ever done.
I got Matt's. You're recording this from like an Airbnb or something, I assume. Is there like? Do you have a housemate?
Yeah, is anybody else staying
next
there?
to you that would just hear? They can't hear us. They just hear. He would have ordered a misto soup.
Maggie Luke is in the next room and the walls are thin, so yeah, she'll probably be a little worried about me right now.
Can't wait to
very
message
good.
Maggie after this.
This is very funny.
Be like, hey, anything stand out in what you heard?
Is that
Incredible.
even like how he talked?
Yeah, no, it was very good, but
Okay,
also
but very bad.
terrible. Yeah.
Also, the worst thing I've ever heard.
Also horrific. We'll 100% put that on TikTok. 100%, no question.
Yeah, just hanging me out to dry. I get you.
It's so funny and so bad. And that's where Dougal on sits.
Yeah.
In the Venn
That's where we
diagram.
are.
Yeah.
That's the Venn diagram. Anyways, he's spotted by a travelling salesman, and he's brought into play for the local team, I think in Franklin, 50 miles north of Butler. Players received a few dollars a game, so Waddell was interested. He's like, okay. It was here in Franklin that Waddell earned the nickname Rube, as his teammates teased him for his lack of intelligence. Right? A rube is like a fool or like yeah.
That's mean.
It is a bit mean, but the nickname would stick for the rest of his life, and it seems like it was embraced by Waddell. He's referred to in a lot of articles and stuff as the Rube. The Rube. But I call him Waddell through most of this. The team in Franklin folded soon after, but word had spread about Waddell's talent. Volant College, a local school in Pennsylvania, made Waddell an offer to come and pitch for them. They offered him free tuition, which wasn't much use to a man with very little interest in further education. But they also said they'd pay him $1 per game, he'd have free room and board, and free tobacco. So he was like, hell yeah. That seems cool.
You said he didn't have any interest in learning, but you said earlier that he was naturally very good at school. Was that right?
He was all right in like elementary school. I think he did pretty well, but he didn't attend very much.
Right, gotcha.
But then other sources have said he didn't really have much formal education at all. So some people, I think at the time, thought he was illiterate. People since have been like, no, he could definitely read. I don't think he was interested in going to college.
Right.
There were too many adventures he could go on instead.
Especially when you've got unlimited tobacco.
Yeah. And while
Imagine
playing
that
for
now.
Vaughan-
That would be worth an absolute fortune these days.
Oh my
gosh.
God.
Yeah, I'd be selling everything I get.
Oh, yeah. While playing for the college, he dominated the field. He averaged 15 strikeouts per game.
Per game?
15
Whoa.
per game. And these are slightly shorter games too. They played 7 innings instead of 9. And he's striking out 15 players a game. That's an average.
It's funny because I think that's impressive. It's got to be, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I checked. It is impressive.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, that feels crazy. Or is it? They seem to have a lot of batters, but yeah. Every innings is only 3, so that's like he wipes out 5 full innings himself.
Oh, yeah, 5 of 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
That's an average.
Yeah.
So sometimes it could have been more.
So maybe that's why there were 4 down in the second. He's just got everyone out.
I'm still thinking, Bob, that unlimited tobacco, he could open a stall selling it, and they just have to keep restocking for him, and it's pure profit.
Fuck, that's good.
And then, like, when they bring it over, he could just say, yep, just put it on the shelf over there. Stack it up nicely for me. Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you.
That's
good stuff.
I wonder if he did that.
He should have taken some business classes with his free tuition.
Yeah.
And then he'd be absolutely rolling in it.
Rolling in it. Good one, Bob. Pun king
Thank
right
you.
there.
Thank you, pun queen. On more than one occasion, Waddell instructed his teammates to leave the field while he pitched to the next batter because he wasn't going to need their help.
Oh, wow.
Then he'd strike out the batter. It was diabolical and pretty badass.
That is... Guys, take 5.
Yeah, I got this, guys.
I don't need anyone to catch this.
But then it's also widely reported that after he'd end an innings with strikeouts, he would cartwheel or somersault across the pitch to the dugout.
Holy shit.
So less badass, more kind of cute and wholesome.
Whee!
Yeah, he's just having fun playing ball, and then he's like, la, 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 off he goes.
The crowds must have loved that.
Yes.
That's razzle-dazzle.
Yeah, he's got the razzle-dazzle.
But your opponents would be so pissed, though. He's just struck you out, and then he's now cartwheeling.
Yeah. Like, you're taking this game so seriously, and he's just having fun.
Yeah.
Must be like, what the fuck? He's so fucking good, and he's just playing. He's just having fun. He's chasing a fucking butterfly at the moment. What's going on?
Now he's piffing it.
He's piffing that butterfly.
Go. Whoa.
That butterfly's on Mars now. That's crazy. So Major League scouts caught wind of this eccentric and impressive pitcher out of Pennsylvania, and it wasn't long before he was signed to the Louisville Colonels in 1897. I did read in one source that 2 days into his time with Louisville, he got a $50 fine for going out and getting hammered, and he didn't like the fine or the fact that he wasn't allowed to get drunk whenever he wanted, so he quit the team.
Yeah.
Which is a fun energy. Waddell's career spanned 13 years across 5 teams. This is the Major League teams. Here they are in both chronological order and also ranked best to worst name.
Oh, wow, okay.
Here we go.
It gets worse.
It gets worse.
Okay.
The Louisville Colonels, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Chicago Orphans,
It's going to get worse than that?
the Philadelphia Athletics,
Oh.
and the St. Louis Browns.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
I think
Orphans is fantastic, but yeah, Browns.
Chicago Orphans? What?
Yeah.
Why are you calling your team the Orphans? That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, would they
And then what's your
find them all at an
mascot?
orphanage or something?
Yeah, do you go to an orphanage and just like take the kids out for a day and they're your little mascots?
And when they
And they're all like, are we going to your home? No, God, no. Back to the orphanage, yuck.
Yeah, put on the suit and shut up. And when they sign a new player, they're like, great, are your parents still alive? Well,
Not for long.
About that.
Yeah.
We have some rules.
It must be a team of orphans. Say goodbye.
Our billionaire owner is sick. But he pays really well.
He pays really well, and we're a pretty good team. Mostly because of grief. Throughout his career, especially in the early years, he ping-ponged between the major and minor leagues, sometimes because the major league season was over, sometimes because he was in trouble with the major league team he was signed to, sometimes for shits and giggles. He was just kind of doing his own thing. Alan Levy writes, Rube was an absolute terror to hitters. He was a very large man, about 6'2", and he usually weighed around 225 pounds, or 102 kilos. He could throw with the velocity of any man who ever played the game. He had unusually large hands, even for his size. His shoe size was 13. As for his hands, John McGraw noted that Waddell could encircle a baseball with his fingers as the ordinary man could a billiard ball. Waddell could nearly touch his middle finger and thumb around the ball's diameter. Middle finger and thumb. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's hard. I've got about the size of a billiard ball going on.
Yeah, I'm not even that. Maybe ping pong.
That's a trick just to make you do that that secret racist symbol, isn't it?
Oh, I thought it was one where you get punched.
Oh, yeah. Wow, both. I mean, it should be.
It works for both. Secret racist symbol. That deserves a punch as well. Anyway, so he's very tall, he's very strong, he's got huge hands.
What a dreamboat.
Yeah.
Not his value, but the hands, my goodness.
What's sexy about big hands, Dave?
Oh my gosh. Think of what you could do with them.
Yeah.
Pick up a can, encircle the can, put the can back down.
That's hot.
Oh my God.
That is hot.
There's
Wow.
like the cool thing about big hands in the bedroom is it makes everything seem small.
Yeah. That's why you want me in there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Everything looks huge.
I don't want to look huge.
Everything looks huge.
I don't want to look huge.
Oh, look at the size of this.
No, I don't. No.
Wow.
That's why you two never made sense.
But
It's a
yet we
short-lived
make
fling.
it work.
You do.
We love despite. That's the thing.
That's right.
So his career peaked. His baseball career peaked sort of between the years of 1901 and 1908, mostly under the management of Hall of Fame baseball manager Connie Mack, who was the first to win the World Series 3 times. Connie Mack is a contender for all-time great names. I mean, Connie Mack is good, but his real name is Cornelius McGillicuddy.
Oh my God. That sounds like a
Cornelius-
made-up old-timey name.
McGillicuddy. It sounds like a Harry Potter character.
You could have given me 100 ways that name dismounts, and I would never have picked that one.
Yeah. Well, I know
Cornelius McGillicuddy.
the Wikipedia kind of breaks it down. They're like, okay, so his parents were Irish immigrants, and at that time especially, any name that started with Mc they were all called Mac. Right, so a lot of Irish immigrants had the nickname Mac, and Connie is actually quite a common shortening of Cornelius. So he was called Connie Mack his whole life, but his name's Cornelius McGillicuddy.
Incredible.
You're
So
right.
good.
Both versions of it are fantastic. In
Really good.
Totally different ways.
Mac is a very interesting character. He holds records for the most wins, 3,731, losses, 3,948,
Oh, damn.
ties, 76, and games managed, 7,755 in Major League Baseball history. Still, he holds those titles. His victory, so his wins, is 847 more than the second highest, which is Tony La Russa with 2,884.
Though, to be fair, I don't know much about baseball, as I said, but I think they do play about 6,000 games a year
That's wild,
per
isn't it?
team.
It's insane. And this is back in the 1900s as well.
Wow, so the record, may never be broken.
Mack managed the Philadelphia Athletics for its first 50 seasons of play, starting in 1901.
So did you say 50?
Correct.
He was a manager for 50 years.
Yes. He was at least part owner from 1901 to 1954 and retired after the 1950 season at aged 87.
Okay, I will wager that probably will never be broken. That's crazy.
Isn't that insane? He was just part of this team for 50 years.
That is ridiculous. I've just found out why they were called the Orphans. If you're interested, it's kind of fun. So they were
Can it be fun?
they were known as the Colts for a while, but Anson.
Then they killed all the Colts' parents.
That is fun.
The team's manager and first baseman was named Cap Anson, who was nicknamed Pop, and he was fired from the team. Like, he was like the team's dad, Pop. So once he was fired, they started being called the Orphans, and that became official for a little while.
Wow.
Wait, it wasn't interesting. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
No, it is interesting to think that they're like, we love that guy so much, we fired him.
Yeah, we're going to change our name based on the lack of him.
He's no longer here because we fired him. He's not dead.
But we love him.
There you go, see.
So yeah,
Orphans.
Mack was a legendary manager. In reading a bit about him, I think he has a little bit of a Ted Lasso about him. He seemed to have a real knack for knowing how to get the best out of his players, especially Waddell. Waddell kind of stayed with him the longest. Other managers just couldn't handle him. Mack seemed to sort of figure it out. He wanted his players to strive to be better, not just better players, but also better people. He had this code of conduct that focused on sportsmanship, teamwork, humility, and fairness. And the last one on the list is, I will always judge a teammate or an opponent as an individual and never on the basis of race or religion, which is impressive to me given this was the early 1900s.
Yeah, wow.
That's kind of nice. So yeah, Mac seems like he's a really interesting character. And
he judged them on height and width.
That's right. And so he was like, this Waddell guy, he might be number one.
Yeah.
He's very high and width.
He's a girthy lad.
He's a girthy boy. So anyway, it's 1901. Mac becomes manager of the new Philadelphia Athletics. Prior to managing Philadelphia, Connie Mack had managed the Milwaukee Brewers, where he signed Rube for a brief stint. It was here that Mac learned how to get the best out of Rube. Basically, lean into his outside interests. So Waddell pitched the first game of a doubleheader for Milwaukee, and they won. And Mac offered Waddell a 3-day fishing vacation if he agreed to pitch the second game.
Oh.
So he did. He pitched and he threw a complete game shutout for the victory. A shutout is when a single pitcher pitches a complete game and does not allow the opposing team to score a run.
Wow.
Whoa.
And then he headed to Pewaukee Lake to go fishing.
That's so nice. This is how they should do it.
It's like dangling keys in front of him, like, hey, what's this?
You want
what's
this?
Hey, you pitch a good game, you go fishing. He's like, okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't be keys though. It'd be a lure. You like that actually be
a little worm on a hook. Ooh.
That's a good system. They should do all work should be done like that. Hey, do a work today, 3-day trip. I like that.
That'd be nice. We should start doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a good report and, you get to go wherever you want. Skiing.
Home?
Could be fun.
Could I go home?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
I think that's our
this time
current
next
system.
week. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a perfect system.
It is a good system. Yeah.
Yeah. What's this? 491 great reports in a row.
And we have little holidays every week.
Yeah.
We are bankrupt. So, yeah, that's how they worked together at the Brewers. They were reunited a year later in 1902 when Connie Mack, now in Philadelphia, was desperate for a pitcher. And when he learnt that Waddell was pitching in California, he dispatched 2 Pinkerton agents to sneak Waddell back into Philadelphia, where he led the Philadelphia Athletics to the 1902 American League crown. And now, I don't know why it required Pinkerton agents to go get him, why he couldn't just say, like, write him a letter and say, come to Philadelphia. I couldn't find much information on why that was the case, why he had to sneak out of California, but I thought it was so funny that he got 2 detectives to go get him.
He just needed an escort.
I just think that's kind of funny.
And previous topic as well. That was your previous topic as well, wasn't it, Popper?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Much later, Mac described Waddell as the atom bomb of baseball long before the atom bomb was discovered.
So what did that mean to him?
Not sure. This is later he described this. So the atom bomb did exist by then.
Guys, this won't mean anything to you, but I think he's more like an atom bomb. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? It'll make sense.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
a time traveler. That was right in sync to me, Dave. It probably sounded like 3 weeks later to you.
Yeah, that's right. You are a time traveler and you're very behind.
I've time traveled backwards slightly. Half an hour.
And so began the Rube's most successful era. From Wikipedia, in his prime, Waddell was the game's premier power pitcher with 302 strikeouts in 1903, 115 more than runner-up Bill Donovan.
Whoa!
So he's very good.
Geez, Bill Donovan's lucky to get a mention even.
But yeah,
can we edit that out, actually? AJ, edit out that guy's name.
Yeah, can we? I've just deleted him from my brain. That's wasted space.
Let's not bring the podcast down.
Yeah, we're losers.
Waddell followed that season with 349 strikeouts in 1904, 110 more than runner-up Jack Chesbro.
Oh, delete.
No other pitcher compiled consecutive 300-strike seasons until Sandy Koufax in 1965 and 66.
All right, that's a name worth remembering.
Remembering. That's a name worth remembering.
Honestly, I'm going to remember that name forever.
Yeah.
Sandy Koufax.
I have heard of Sandy Koufax. I always assumed that was like the name of a TV detective or something.
It does sound more like a detective than a baseball pitcher.
Yeah. And Koufax is Koufax.
Wow, I did not realize that.
Me either.
Huh.
His 1905 season with the Athletics was his best season, in which he had 26 wins, 287 strikeouts, and this was his only season where he would have had the chance to play in the World Series. But unfortunately, he injured his shoulder while roughhousing with a teammate and had to sit out the rest of the season. Apparently, because they're on the road a lot, they'd caught the train, they were waiting at a train station for a new train. They were roughhousing over this straw hat.
Roughhousing over a straw hat.
Hey, give it me. No, it's mine.
Just the phrase roughhousing is so funny.
It's very funny. Yeah. But
I'll wrestle you for it.
This injury later led to speculation over many years since that Waddell was actually bribed or paid off to fake the injury and thus not play in the series. And that
would
rumor
make
kind
more
of
sense.
Well, that swelled for quite some time, but Connie Mack refused to believe this theory. He said that's ridiculous. From John Thorne's Our Game blog, more than 100 years later, Waddell's mark is still the best by any American League left-hander. In 1955, at age 93, Connie Mack called Rube the greatest pitcher in terms of pure talent he had ever seen, and Connie had seen them all.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the result would have been different if he played, right? He was a freak. If he plays, they win sort of thing.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, he does seem like a real freak of nature with his talent and just the power and speed of his pitches. It's so hard to return them. And I think it's just nice because he gets up to so many antics, which I'm about to talk about, but it's nice that it wasn't like he was a hopeless player or anything, or he was just average. He was freakishly good at baseball, and he did some of this wild shit I'm about to mention.
That's awesome.
Because just the name by itself, you think, oh, he's probably hopeless at all aspects.
Yeah. Or he can hit a curveball really well, but nothing else. Or you know what I mean? But he's just, he is actually a very good player.
The pitchers, why do they keep throwing curveballs at him? We know that's all he can hit.
Just lob it up.
Just, do anything else.
The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for life.
That sounds like a threat.
Then how do you think we should say it?
Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Until your ultimate demise.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
$25 a month, forever.
Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
So it's undeniable that he was a very impressive baseball player, but he's also famous for many of his off-field antics. So in 1903, that was a big year for him. He managed to cram a lot in, including an appearance in a touring melodrama.
What?
Was he spotted in a shopping centre?
The show was called The Stain of Guilt.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God. I don't want to look at that stain.
We've all been there.
No matter what colour it is, it's awful.
Well, yeah, you use a black light to find it. That was a big part of the plot.
One source said it was critically acclaimed. Others say that the audience loved it, but critics fucking hated it. But regardless, it was well attended.
Yeah.
His performance was very notable in that his co-stars realised he was incapable of memorising his lines, and so they just let him improvise his lines for every show.
Every show's different. Fantastic.
Again, he could read, but he just couldn't remember the lines. So they're like, just make it up.
Say whatever you want.
Say whatever you want.
But then they stick to the scripts and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and they're just having... That would then essentially mean they have to improv as well.
Yeah, but if you don't improv, it's even better.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm a Seahawk!
Oh, good to hear. I'm well, thank you.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Your mother did what? A huge discussion point amongst punters was the scene in which Waddell's character lifted the actor playing the villain and threw him across the stage with ease.
The audience, fuck him up.
Give him the chair. I'm imagining overhead, just fully picking up another fully grown man and throwing him.
The villain was a caterpillar.
I assume this was a written scene, or maybe it was just one of his classic improvs. I hope it was written and the actor knew he was about to be thrown. Otherwise, that would be terrifying.
Just go with it. Go with it.
Just go with it.
Now, we're about to talk about it because on our Patreon-only podcast, Phrasing the Bar, because it's back for one special episode because the phrase was in one movie last year called Brothers, and Peter Dinklage is also in the movie, and he just gets absolutely thrown across the room into a bath, and it just shatters the tiles. That's exactly what I'm imagining him doing to an actor.
Yeah.
Thrown by Fraser's character as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So maybe Fraser could play the Rube.
Oh, I mean, Fraser's a tall man. He's a like strong man. I reckon he could.
Yeah, get him in there.
I don't know if the Rube had quite the same hotness level of the phrase, but I believe in the Fraser's performance. He can like through his performance he can make himself uglier.
Through his performance or prosthetics, if it has to be.
No, purely through his performance.
I don't know. I don't know if he can act that good to make himself Rube repulsive.
I never said Rube was repulsive.
Oh, okay, great. Well,
just that he's not as hot as like George of the Jungle, Brendan Fraser, because who the fuck is?
Yeah, exactly. That's fair.
But I mean, Hollywood, they always, they cast a hottie in every role.
That's true.
So I think people would accept it.
I'll probably be played by Emma Watson or something.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him now. He's a pretty. I reckon he's not a bad match for Fraser. I reckon Fraser could play him for sure. Obviously, have to age him down a little bit for the 3-year-old scenes.
No, I could do it. They're getting really good with the aging down stuff, so I think...
And we know that the phrase can play a baseballer with freakish talent because he's already done that in the movie.
Yeah, and I definitely remember that movie.
Yes.
And that was called...
The Scout.
The Scout, also starring...
the famous comedian
Albert Brooks.
Yes.
And he was kind of...
The Hammock District.
Is that based on the Rube?
I don't know.
Remember, he was not a super intelligent dude, but he was like just discovered maybe in, I don't know, playing in South America or something.
I'm starting to think I didn't watch this movie at all. I can remember one scene of it. Anyway, don't get distracted on a thing we've already talked about many years ago.
Yes,
because
I'm sorry.
Very Rubish, aren't we?
I can see both of you are on your computers looking up this film.
No.
I've got more to talk about this play and more antics he gets up to. But no, you let me know when you're ready.
Sorry, someone just asked if I wanted to go fishing. I'm closing the laptop.
Got
Sorry,
distracted.
Bob, I just heard a siren go past.
So during the run of The Stain of Guilt, another classic Waddell antic happened. So on the night of Tuesday, October 26, Waddell missed that night's performance in Chicago to go see a rivaling show that featured lions. At some point during the show, Waddell became mad at one of the lions and punched it. In retaliation, the lion bit Waddell on his left hand, his pitching hand.
Oh, no.
Luckily, it wasn't too significant and it fully healed, but he went to a show that had lions in it. He got mad at a lion. He punched a lion. The lion bit him.
Jesus.
And this is why he should have been on stage at a rival show.
Yeah, I'm not sure there was an understudy for his character. He just wasn't there.
And the next day they're like, Rube, where were you? I got bit by a lion.
And they're like, okay, Rube, fuck me.
It'd be the same as during a game, him going to watch, he's meant to be playing for the New York Mets. He goes and watches the Yankees play.
Yeah.
And gets bitten by a New York cop or something.
Same thing.
Yeah, same.
He wasn't just good at baseball either. He had a crack at some other sports as well. From Wikipedia, it says, shortly after the 1902 baseball season, reports indicated Waddell would play for Connie Mack's athletics football team. However, it wasn't quite meant to be. Mack later said, there was a little fellow from Wanamaker's who asked for a job of quarterback. I don't think he weighed more than 140 pounds. Well, the first practice, Waddell tackled him and broke his leg. It was the first inkling John and I had that players could be badly hurt in football. We got Rube out of there without delay. He was supposed to be pretty good, but we never found out. He's just too big and strong and...
I think that'd be really good when playing oppositions. Just don't get him to do it to your own players.
Exactly. So Waddell returned to his family home in Pennsylvania and played with local football clubs there. He played with various football teams in his later years and also had a brief stint as a goalkeeper in the St. Louis Soccer League. So he also had a crack at soccer for a bit too.
Wow.
That's like the opposite being a goalie of a pitcher.
I know. There's a lot going on.
He can do it all.
I think he just likes to play.
And he could catch his huge hands would be pretty handy.
And he's tall and he's broad, so it's sort of like, he can cover a lot of space.
Stand there with it, you're doing jumping jacks. You wouldn't be able to get it past him.
Easy. There's also just a lot of stories that go around about Rube that don't have much information on them, but they come up in multiple sources and they're often used to sort of bolster this image of a strange and funny character. Some are kind of cute and silly, some are genuinely very impressive, some are a bit baffling. So I've given these the title of one-sentence antics, and I have a few of them here. I think this happened mostly in minor leagues, but fans began to notice that Waddell could be easily distracted, so they would bring puppies to the game, hold them up for him to see, and he'd wander off the field to go play with puppies. He also, as Dave alluded to before, sometimes they would just bring shiny things. And they'd like get the light on, get the sunlight on it, and he'd be distracted and go off to look at the shiny thing.
Actually happened.
Yes.
Okay.
So like crowds are noticing that he's easily distracted, so they're bringing stuff to distract him.
So there's just hundreds of puppies in the crowd.
But how cute is that they're like, look,
so
Rube, a
cute.
puppy, and he's like, ooh, and he wants to go play with a puppy. It's very sweet.
Yeah,
also
and
had a
also
long-
it's a great promotional tool, right? For even his rich and weird boss who orphans all his players. They must still be like, this is great. This is getting punters in. We can charge the puppies for tickets. You know, like you could make a fortune.
Yeah. An extra $1 for a puppy ticket. As we mentioned, he also had a long-standing fascination with fire trucks and ran off the field to chase after them during games on multiple occasions. His interests, like we said before, seemed to be less about fire trucks themselves and more about wanting to help, which is quite nice. But yeah, he would be mid-game, hear a fire truck, and off he'd run.
They need me.
While on the road playing baseball, he was sharing a room with teammate Ossie Schreckengost. My God, that's incredible.
Ossie Schreckengost.
Ossie Schreckengost. As you know, so they're sharing rooms as was customary. Schreckengost later refused to share the room until a contract clause was created which would bar Waddell from eating crackers in bed. It's too crummy in here. I can't sleep. He's eating crackers in my bed.
It has to be put in his contract.
You can't eat crackers in bed anymore, Rube.
And this feels like a guy who reads the fine print of a contract too. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, well, if it says it in the contract, why don't
Oh,
they put in the contract you can't be distracted by shiny things as well?
Yeah, and then we're fine. He gained more fame as well for saving the lives of people inside a department store when he picked up a burning oil stove that had overturned and carried it out of the building before it could start a fire.
In a department store.
Yep.
Man.
Again, one sentence antics. Nobody gives any fucking information on that, but just that there was almost a fire, but then there wasn't a fire because of him.
I reckon that's probably what he did to be discovered for Cum Stain, the musical or whatever. No, the Stain of Regret.
Stain of guilt.
Stain of Guilt. Wow. The first thing I said was clearly not right.
Cum stain. No, I don't think the play was called Cum Stain.
I'm staying in the musical.
Yeah. Oh, but there's a melodrama coming to town. Do you want to go see it? Yeah, get tickets to Cum Stain, would you?
I'd shortened it in my mind, and I forgot to retranslate it to the real one before saying it out loud. And that's on me.
He would also disappear for months at a time during the off-season, and it was not known where he went until it was discovered that he was wrestling alligators in a circus.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Again, nobody gives any information about the circus, about when this was, but that's what he was doing.
Where have you been?
Wrestling
An
alligators
alligator
is
bit my
wild
hand.
enough.
Yeah, but
In a
not
circus is such a funny way to end that sentence. I guess
Dan
it'd be weird
O'Brien.
if he just did it. He just went to swamps by himself.
Yeah.
I guess that's how Steve Irwin made a career, but
Look how that turned out.
it's such a good
Very
point.
successful career.
Yeah, really well. Iconic.
Dan O'Brien writes, the Rube also demonstrated his more compassionate side when athletic centre fielder Danny Hoffman was knocked unconscious by a fastball to the temple.
Oh.
Someone went for an ambulance and the players crowded around in aimless bewilderment, wrote Connie Mack. Somebody said that Danny might not live until the doctor got there. Then the man they called the Playboy and Clown went into action. Pushing everybody to one side, he gently placed Danny over his shoulder and actually ran across the field. Rube flagged down a carriage, which carted the pair to the nearest hospital, and Rube, still in uniform, sat at Hoffman's bedside for most of the night and held ice to Hoffman's head.
Oh.
So he's like, ambulance isn't going to get there in time. I'm big. I'll just carry him. Very
Well,
nice.
he can use his 2 meal powers. That's my God, I love this guy.
Yeah, he's quite lovable.
Feels all very memorable. How have I forgotten all of this? I don't remember
ask
any
yourself
of
that,
this.
Matt. Yeah. You don't. Yeah. We've already established you were asleep during the sleep podcast.
That's probably it. Yep.
Speaking of being lovable, he was married at least 3 times, although made remarks along the lines of losing track of how many wives he had. But there were definitely 3 that we know of. Following the 1899 season, Rube made a brief return to Columbus, where he married Florence Dunning. Florence received a divorce from Rube in 1901 on the grounds of gross neglect of duty. I don't know who was neglecting who there, but they divorced. Dan O'Brien again writes, in June of 1903, he was married for the second time, this time to a Massachusetts girl named May Wynn Skinner, who he had met 3 days earlier.
May Wynn.
May Wynn.
Wow.
She may win. It was the beginning of a very stormy relationship. The marriage lasted nearly 7 years, but the couple only infrequently lived together, and Mrs. Waddell often had her husband jailed for non-support.
Oh.
How's he going to support you if he's in jail?
It's true. It's tricky. I mean, he's got to get out there to wrestle some alligators.
He's got to wrestle some alligators. The tumultuous marriage to May Wynn Skinner only exacerbated his drinking problem. They divorced in 1908, and in 1910 he married wife number 3, 19-year-old Madge Maguire. Not much is written about his marriage to Madge, other than it was also pretty tumultuous, and his issues at home plagued him on the field as well. Apparently he passed out in the middle of a game against New York in 1909. So 3 marriages that we know of, possibly more.
Yep.
But all pretty stormy, a bit tumultuous. By the 1908 season, not quite the dominant force he once was, Rube was still a box-off bonanza. As Matt was saying before, like, this guy is filling stadiums. He paid for himself in 3 games after he was bought, wrote St. Louis Post-Dispatch columnist John L. Ray. He'd added many thousands since that time, paid admissions that would never have arrived at the gate but for the fact that Rube was scheduled to work. When he was playing for the Browns, they enjoyed a 48% boost in home attendance to more than 618,000.
Wow.
So people are turning up to see this guy.
And is he getting paid okay?
I think so. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
He's on an all right contract now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You know, back in the day, it was like free smokes and $1 a game, and he's like, "Oh, this is the best
That's
ever."
sick. Yeah, that was when he was like playing at a college level. This is like Major League Baseball, so I'm sure he's doing okay.
A man that you can distract with a shiny object, maybe they are taking advantage of.
Yeah, you're right. It'd be rife for exploitation.
I could give you
the shiny
50 grand a
objects
game.
was gold pieces, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I could give you 50 grand a game, or I could give you this little plastic jewel I've got.
Ooh.
What do you
It's
think?
pretty shiny, isn't
Pretty
it?
shiny.
I mean, that's how my husband got me. Shiny jewel. What's that?
He offered you
What's
a
that?
lot of cash, and you took
Yeah.
the jewel.
I took the jewel like a fucking
Never
idiot.
take the jewel.
So shiny. Oh my god. So he was quite a big drinker through his whole life as well, as we kind of alluded to before, with like getting in trouble for being out on the piss. But his alcohol use began to erode his relationships with his athletics teammates. Schreckengost, his one-time friend, who regularly went drinking with him and went fishing, squabbled with both Waddell and Mack for being treated differently for the same offences. So Waddell would sort of get away with stuff that others wouldn't.
He's like, I'm not allowed to eat crackers in bed, and look at him go.
It's unbelievable.
He's had 2 boxes.
I can't go fishing and go out on the piss, but he can. This and other incidents led to Waddell's release from the team in 1910. So it was a slow thing. And I'll explain as well that he wasn't super well, but there's kind of a bittersweet reason as to why. So after his major league career was over, Waddell pitched for parts of 3 or more years in minor leagues, including a 20-win season for the Minneapolis Millers in 1911 and pitching for the Minneapolis Rough Riders and the Virginia Ore Diggers in 1913.
So many great names.
So good. Rough Riders. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Oh.
But by that 1913 season, his health was declining and he'd lost a lot of muscle, and he was no longer that muscular, long-limbed hero of the prior decade. And that's because while training with the Millers in the years before, Waddell helped save the city of Hickman, Kentucky from a devastating flood in the spring of 1912.
He held back a flood.
Basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a dyke. He just stood there and dammed the river.
Yeah.
He was a levee himself.
River be
One-man
damned, he said.
Yeah, and that'll take away a lot of your muscle mass. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
pretty draining. No, basically he got pneumonia from standing for hours in icy waters up to his armpits, placing sandbags in advance of rising waters.
Oh, legend.
The pneumonia drained him quite badly, and when a second flood hit the town, he was once again out there in the cold water to help. So by 1913, he was thinner, less muscly, generally not very well. Soon after, he was diagnosed with tuberculosis and moved to live closer to his sister in San Antonio, Texas. His health never really recovered, and he was placed in a sanitarium in nearby Elmendorf until he died at the age of 37 on the 1st of April 1914. So some people do mention that he was born on Friday the 13th and he died on April Fool's Day.
Gosh, what does it all mean?
But so, like, he packed all of that into quite a short life.
Yes.
37 years. And, yeah, he died from an illness he sustained helping people.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
What a legend.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd heard, like, I think this is a story that gets told a bit on different podcasts and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'd just seen the name. I've even told the story. I always thought, I didn't realize he was like this noble sort of beautiful soul.
Yeah.
But it seems like his nickname undersells him.
Yeah, totally. And it's so of the time, isn't it, that people are just focusing on that he's a bit of an idiot. But like I was saying before, through a more modern lens or with the information we have now, people are like, I don't think he wasn't stupid. He might have had other, either intellectual disabilities, or he was on an autism spectrum, or he had ADHD, or like something that meant that he was, easily distracted or off just doing next things, or was on to the next adventure and wasn't like super focused. But I think there is also that sort of Forrest Gump comparison that he seems like quite a sweet, well-meaning person, and I think that's really cool.
I don't think you would have any of those things. Well, they didn't happen back in my day.
No, you're right. That's a modern thing. Every second person's got something now, don't they? Yeah,
it's all a scam. Big medicine has made it all up.
It's like we saw a big spike in left-handedness.
Yeah, that's
once
right.
we stopped hitting kids for being left-handed.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
So did you take the same lesson out of that as me? Keep hitting kids.
Keep hitting kids. Keep forcing the right hand.
With your right hand. Any parents who hit with their left hand should be hit.
Yeah, because that's the devil's hand.
Yeah. Hit them with God's hand. The Jesus hand.
Jesus was right-handed, right?
Yeah. Jess, that is... How do you even ask that question? Of course he was.
Sorry, it's been a while since I left my Catholic high school. So yeah, sadly all good things must come to an end, and he died at 37. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1946 by the Veterans Committee that looked to enshrine a number of players from his era and the previous century who had contributed to the growth of the game. One of Waddell's contributions was that he was perhaps the greatest drawing card in the first decade of the century, a man whose unique talent and personality drew baseball fans around the country to ballparks.
Nice.
So people came out in flocks to see him play. And yeah, he packed a lot into a short life, and we love to tell those stories here because it's always very interesting. But there you go. That is the story of Rube Waddell.
What a guy. What a life.
I mean, I've never been to a professional baseball game. But if he, that's the kind of guy that would bring out even sort of semi-interested fans of baseball, right?
Totally.
Oh, like if there was a chance of me seeing a player and also a chance of me seeing other people distract that player with a bunch of puppies,
I'm going to that game.
I'm going for the puppies.
I'm taking a puppy.
Yeah.
They need to bring that back. I mean, even just have it as like they're, even if they don't have that naturally, like an easily distracted nature, get them to play the part. Like, you have to be a bit distracted by, make it more like WWE or whatever.
Yeah, make it more like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yes.
Right.
Bit of
Have the
razzle-dazzle.
puppy rule.
Do some tricks.
There is a league over there called like the Banana League or something that I think is a bit like that. Banana baseball. And it's all just like fireworks and real hectic baseball stuff. Because I think it is quite a boring game if left to its own devices.
I enjoyed it. I went to a baseball game and enjoyed it. I had a great time.
Where'd you go?
Great question. Yankee Stadium.
Oh, heard of that.
A lot of fun. But we got in the lift at our hotel afterwards, and a couple got in, and they were American, and they said, what have you been up to? And we said we just went to a baseball game, and the guy of this couple was like, oh yeah, they've changed the rules. I think Aiden said, like, I expected it to be kind of a bit slower and a bit more boring. The guy was like, oh, they've changed the rules, so it moves a bit quicker now. And then I've just repeated that back to people every time people talk about baseball. I said, wow, they changed the rules, and it moves pretty quick. It's got a good flow now. Yeah,
nice.
It flows pretty well. So it was actually, I loved it. It was really fun. It was more fun than going to a football game there.
Oh,
dare
great.
I say.
Okay, cool. I should really... the Melbourne team played just out of town, and there's like a party level where you can go up on the stand, and I think your ticket is open bar and stuff like that. I reckon we should go... I'd love to go see a game there.
That's
go the Aces.
wild.
Wow, the party bar or party level.
I think it's something like that, yeah.
That's
And I know
fun.
you two love to party, so maybe
Big
we
partiers. Big partiers.
Is there a puppy level?
Yeah. I'd pay for that.
I'd pay for the puppy level.
The
They
open
should do a
bar
puppy
is
day.
wasted on me. But
Yes.
if there's a puppy day, I'd be into that
Yeah.
for sure. Puppies would never be wasted on me.
Yeah, that we should pitch that to them as an idea. Puppy bar, open puppy bar. You can go in and just pet as many puppies as you want.
You see those celebrity interviews where they're just like they're answering questions while surrounded by a whole litter of puppies? Fuck, that's a dream.
I also have somehow never seen this.
Really?
That
sounds
sounds like something that was made by AI or something. You haven't been
So cute,
fooled, have you?
fun. But then
Why
I
is
wonder, what
that-
do they do with the puppies?
Why is that happening?
No, they're just like, you can't just have an interview anymore. It's got to have an element of difference, and it's got to be interesting. So it's like there's a guy who interviews people on roller coasters, and they're answering questions about their new TV show while on a roller coaster. This is just they're answering questions while they're holding puppies.
Does your algorithm have you on the that guy doing hot takes on trains? Do you see
Oh
that?
yeah, 100%. Love that guy.
He says stuff like that as well. Everything is like 100% agree or no 100% disagree.
That's just
Yeah,
how young
he's-
people speak, Matt.
he
I know
is
that's
fun.
confusing for you, but
He's not is he a young person?
younger than you.
Is he? Bloody hell.
Canonically or IRL?
Either.
Yeah, to both.
Well, Jess, what a tale, and what a tale well told. But that brings us to everyone's favourite section of the show, where we thank and appreciate some of our fantastic supporters who get involved via patreon.com/dogoonpod. And you can do that too. You might be sitting there going, oh no, is there like some sort of a cool gatekeeper person there waiting to stop me from entering? No. If you're interested, you're cool enough. That's the rule. You're also hot, by the way.
Yeah, there's no cool or hot test. If you're interested, you're automatically cool enough and hot enough. It's like
Yes.
magic.
If you're hearing this and going, I'm not interested, well, we got some
You're
bad
cool and
news
hot.
for you.
You're cool and hot.
Wait, no, if they're not
Oh
interested.
no! If you're not interested, you're ugly and a loser. You're an
Yeah.
ugly loser.
And that doesn't
And also,
count.
why have you listened this fucking long if you're just an ugly loser?
And that's different from being interested but not in a position to afford it. That's a different thing entirely.
Yeah, you're mega cool and super hot.
Yes, that's right. It's the interest.
It's
That
if
just-
you're sitting here going, ugh, whatever, I knew all of that. Oh, this, you know what? I don't like it when they go on tangents. Ugh, I don't like the girl one. You're a fucking fugly loser.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, if you ever think about commenting on a clip or something saying, oh, the girl, could she just stop talking for a minute? Then you were repulsively ugly. You make
are
me want to
the
spew
ugliest
up.
Yeah, I will stop talking to throw up at the mere sight of you, you fugly loser. How about that?
Yeah.
Fuck off, you misogynistic fugly fuck. At the thought of you. You're
Yeah.
disgusting. Dave gave me a look before that either implied I'd gone too far or he was a bit worried about me.
No,
or maybe both.
Sorry, I zoned out for a second there. I was just on our YouTube sending out some comments. What were you saying? No, 2 thumbs up from me.
I was definitely thinking that was Dave sort of zoning out and zoning back in going, Wait, where are we?
What's happening? I'm zoned out for 1 second. Jess is yelling, "You fugly loser." I don't know what's happening.
I'm like, is she looking at me? Is she looking at me?
Or is this hypothetical, or is she actually having a go at me? I'm not sure.
Trying to defend myself.
So anyway, yeah, those people to one side. This is all about the hot, cool people who are involved at patreon.com/DoGoOnPod. There's a bunch of different levels. You can get different things depending on where you are, including heaps of bonus episodes. I think that, what is there, over 250 now, Dave?
Yeah, 250 plus. There's D&D campaigns. There's bonus episodes. There's quizzes. There's Am I a Dead Woman? There's so many fun things to unlock.
There's also Am I a Dead Woman? That's on there too.
That's on there as well, but you've got to pay more for that. There's also Matt remembers some of his holidays.
Yeah. There was the original Who Knew It with Matt Stewart, and a bunch of fun stuff there. There's also you can vote for the topics. Something like 2 out of 3 topics. Block makes that a bit more confusing, but it's something like 2 out of 3 topics are voted on by the listeners. Was Rube voted on by the listeners, Bopper?
Absolutely was, yeah. And I put up 4 topics. Rube had over 50% of the votes.
Okay. That's a landslide.
It was a landslide, yep.
Yeah. You're not having to go to second preferences there. If we did have a system that included second preferences.
Yeah, sometimes I put it up for the vote and then I just choose what I want.
That's the second preference.
Yeah, mine. And that's the powerful one.
In this case, I did do the report on what the people wanted, and they voted very
Don't
well.
say that, Jess. People will believe that.
That's a joke. That is a joke.
But yeah, there's so much stuff.
And if you thought that was serious...
Oh, no.
Guess what? You are a fugly loser, and nobody ever wants to touch you with a 10-foot pole, you fugly loser. You're the type of person who goes, this podcast, which very clearly markets itself as a comedy podcast hosted by 2 comedians and 1 former comedian, and but I don't think they take this very seriously. Fuck off, you fugly loser.
What a way to find out that Jess no longer considers me a comedian. That's rude.
And to that, they'd say something like, comedy podcasts are meant to be funny, Jess. What do you say to that?
I'll say, well, I'm confused by this now. And I've got myself all riled up. And I'm needing a break.
So this section of the show is taken. There's also the nicest con of the internet, which genuinely it's the only reason. I think we're keeping Meta afloat. Basically, it's the only reason so many people still have Facebook accounts, including me probably. But that's a really fun thing as well. You get access to all that. And the other thing, if you're in the Sydney Scheinberg level or above, you get to be involved in the Fact, Quote or Question section, which is a section of the show we're about to do that has a jingle go something like this.
Fact, quote, or question.
He always remembers the ding. She always remembers the sing.
I have to get that bell service. That's fun. Get some WD-40 on this. Jesus. No, let's no.
Have had a cold over the last couple of weeks and it's really hit my falsetto high register.
Well, if you're coming up with excuses like that, let me tell you one thing. You're a fugly loser.
So on for this section, people on the level of Sydney Scheinberg Memorial level or above get to give us fact, quote, or question, or brag, or suggestion, or really whatever they like, and then I read out a few of them on the show. I read them out for the first time. Well, I will do that right now. And they also get to give themselves a title. First one this week comes from the silly-eyed missile man himself, Pete Holberton, and I hadn't read ahead, who's given himself the title of wannabe silly-eyed missile man. I'd take that wannabe away. You are to me.
You're our steely-eyed missile man.
Big time. Pete writes, "Hi legends, quick space-related fact for you. He said, I've got a reputation to keep after all. The first satellite that the French launched was called Asterix, after the comic book character. Guess it makes sense, as Asterix comes from asterisk, which comes from the Greek for little star. Hope you're all well, and as usual, thanks for all the laughs and learning. Cheers, Pete."
Pete.
Love that. And I love if that's one of those things where you'd say that to the French people, they go, yeah, I guess that's why we did it. Yeah, definitely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we knew that. We looked into the Greek. Or if they were like, Asterix is famous.
I like cartoon Vikings, or whatever he is.
He's a Gaul.
Jess, you calling that fun fact?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Dave, you calling that a dull fact?
No, I mean, I like to just defer to Jess and say, yeah, I find it fun if she's approving it. I'm allowed to say it aloud.
And I will say, if you're listening and you do think that's a dull fact,
Yes?
let me tell you one thing. Look in the mirror and repulse yourself because you're fugly. And then turn to your no friends because you don't have any because you're a fucking loser.
I'll say as well, Pete is in the nicest corner of the internet, and he said he's coming to see my show Bad Boy at the Melbourne Comedy Festival on the 11th. So if you want to meet the Steelyard Missile Man...
Jesus.
Sorry, I'll just bring up the ticket list for who's coming to my show, and I'll give out their details as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to dox everyone.
I'm not really... He said it publicly in that group. I guess it's not publicly then, is it? But anyway, me and Pete are going to have a drink after if you want to join us. The 11th of
He's just
April.
opening it up to everyone.
Pete wanted a private drink with Matt.
And we're going back to Pete's house. His address is, of course.
Pete's going to drive me in his car. His registration number is...
That's right. Just tap on the back window. We'll let you in. We've got three extra spots in the back.
If you're
Let's
running
drive the van,
late,
and maybe
his
there's
mobile
6 more.
number is... send him a text. Thank you, Pete. That was great. Love that fact. That's the kind of fact that I think I could even remember, which I like as well. Next one comes from Paul Meller, whose title is Old Man from Oldham with an old quote. Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, I haven't had a quote for a little while.
Yeah.
Don't mind a quote.
Paul, if you want his details. So Paul has written, Paul's doxes himself all the time. If you follow him on social media, this is going to sound like I know all these people personally, but that's kind of happens with the patrons a little bit. But he posts photos on his daily walks. I'm like, I reckon I could figure out exactly where you live.
Triangulating the sun.
In the middle of paradise. It's near a forest anyway. I'm on you, Paul. I'm on your scent. Paul has a quote writing. This quote is engraved on the floor outside of Oldham's historic town hall. It reads, "We shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us," and was said by Sir Winston Churchill in the House of Lords in 1943. Churchill was arguing that the shape of the original House of Commons chamber in the UK Parliament was a key factor in the development of the country's democratic process. It was being rebuilt after the Blitz in World War II. He believed that the chamber's rectangular pattern was responsible for the two-party system that is the foundation of British parliamentary democracy, so they went with that in the rebuild. However, I'd like to think it literally is about how they shape us as people, as many who work in the House of Commons couldn't run a bath, never mind a country. Maybe that shape hasn't been very successful. I thought it was being really patriotic, and then I'm like, this is very sincere. Oh, he's leading up to laying the slippers in to the political class.
I like they couldn't run a bath. That's funny.
Perhaps we should knock it down and go with something wild to mix it up a bit. Maybe a pyramid? What do you reckon? Anyway, go Saints. Cheers, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
Love that. Have you seen footage of the lower house in the UK? Because it's big. They pack them in. They sit side by side like sardines, and then they yell at each other, which is incredible. And then they used to have I think he's retired now, the old speaker who was trying to keep everyone in check. And John Burkow, I think his name was, he would speak like this. Order, 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 order.
That's a nightmare job. Order.
Just mediating fucking fully grown toddlers.
Yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, I reckon if we stacked them up like a pyramid, that'd be great. Like, becomes its own echo chamber.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Like that very much. Next one comes from Tamara Potts, whose title is Beer. And Tamara's got a fact writing, "The beer pioneer is freaking awesome." Oh, I like this fact. I told my husband it's like Stanley Tucci is searching for Italy, and he laughed at me. Then got really serious and said that it was exactly like that. We're having.
That's the kind of dynamic my husband and I have, where I say something, he laughs at me, I give him a death stare, and he goes, "No, absolutely." It's so funny. I was going to say the exact same thing. Please don't be mad at me.
That's so funny.
It's like, it's kind of like this. It's not kind of like it at all. It's
exactly like it.
And she finishes saying, "We're having beers and watching the first episode now. Love, love, love it." Oh, thank you so much, Tamara. That's available worldwide on the YouTube channel, the Beer Pioneer YouTube channel. And I feel so removed from it. I mean, obviously I host it and stuff, but I think so much of why it's good has nothing to do with it. The crew was just so great, and Shane, whose show it, his idea, has just put together a really fun thing, I think. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, Tamara.
That's very nice.
He laughed at me, then got really serious and said it was exactly like that.
It's exactly like that.
Matt, what about pitching season 3, The Beer Pioneer, and we co-host it. We have beers and pie.
Dave, let Matt have his thing. Just let Matt have his thing.
I just want to eat pies.
I know, but Matt's doing a really good job on the
Honestly,
Beer Pioneer.
yeah, you put yourself, you say it's up to everyone else. You're a fantastic host on that show. Very funny.
Look at him backpedaling, Matt. Look at him. Unbelievable.
Minutes ago, he was like, it needs more Dave.
You know what it needs? It just needs, it needs a little, I could come and do it. Shut the fuck up. To get your own TV show.
I don't mind it though, Dave. We should do a pie special.
Oh, great. Yeah, well,
Thank
I'll try
you,
to fucking stand up for you.
That's right. And if you don't agree with that, then I'll tell you what's wrong with you.
Thank you, Tamara. The final one comes from Braden Burke, a.k.a. guy who fires the golden gun to start a race when the guy who is supposed to shoot the gun is late. That rings a bell, but I can't remember what that's referring to. Maybe we'll find out in this.
It'd be great if you never explained it. It's just turning up. Hey, I've got my own gun. I can do it.
Great. Oh, perfect.
I think it might have been from one of my reports, the New York to Paris car race, which I think one of you wasn't there for, so one of you's got an excuse for not remembering that.
I think it might have been me, but I'm never going to remember anything anyway.
I think we might have missed one each. Did you do a part 2? And then maybe I missed the second one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're off the hook. One of us is.
One of us. We're both off the hook.
I assume it's me.
So Braden's offering a brag/fact/suggestion/deal ?
Oh.
Writing, I'm a PhD student at the University of Connecticut studying maritime archaeology. Whoa, that sounds fun. I've been listening for years and subscribed for three reasons. 1, to tell you all that you have had such an influence on me and my studies, and I can't thank you enough for that. 2, to give you all some money, and 3, to make you an offer. Oh my gosh. This could be interesting. First, I should say, when I started listening to your podcast, I live very close to an island called Charles Island in Long Island Sound. I was kayaking near the island while listening to your episode on Captain Kidd. It's so funny that we've sort of, in a way, been kayaking. You know what I mean? We were there, at least in voice.
Do you think I'd get seasick in a kayak?
Yes. I don't know. But it feels like if you get seasick snorkeling, it feels like you'd get seasick in a bath.
Yeah, I get seasick just from wearing a life jacket.
Yeah. So he says, funnily enough, there have been legends for 300 years that Kidd buried some of his treasure on Charles Island. This was right around the time I was deciding if I should focus on maritime archaeology or other areas of interest. And this experience helped solidify my choice. Isn't that amazing? Now on to the important stuff. Oh yeah, the important stuff, not where you're dedicating your life's attention to. Now to the important stuff. In the 1908 Peking to Paris motor race episode, Matt briefly mentioned that one of the organisers had previously set up a disastrous motorboat race in the Mediterranean in 1905, where almost every ship sank. That brief comment sent me on a deep dive. Man, I forgot about that, but I should really do an episode on it. That race is known as the 1905 Algiers to Toulon motorboat race, and is actually quite a story. This is a longer one, and I'm losing my spot. Sorry. There is very little written about the event. Okay, maybe that's why I haven't done it. Oh no, I should finish the sentence before making comment. There's very little written about the event that doesn't come from French newspapers at the time. I'm our podcast version of Rube, aren't I? Very easily distracted. However, a website called Hydroplane History and a book called Powerboat Quest for Speed by Kevin Desmond both discuss it in slightly more detail. I've translated some French documents that have provided more context as well, adding to the story. Camille Degaste was a participant in the race, one of only 3 women motor races in the early 20th century. So here's the offer. I want you guys to do an episode covering Camille Degaste and the 1905 Algiers to Toulon motorboat race. She is the starring character of the event, and it is honestly quite thrilling. Discussing her life and or the origin of motorboating would add excellent context. In exchange, I will email you copies of the parts of the book mentioned above with the story, send you links to any websites with information and translated newspaper pages. I'll also send you the origin of motorboat racing, of which this is one of the earliest races and certainly one of the most infamous and exciting. Yeah, I'm in. Send me this. Don't send it to the others because I obviously don't want them to see it, and I'll definitely do an episode on this.
Have you been thinking of motorboat racing and giggling every time?
Every time. We will have to dedicate 10 minutes at the top of the episode, probably 5 in the middle, and then 10 at the end for motorboat-related gags.
Who can motorboat the fastest? That's what I'm imagining with motorboat racing.
Early 20th century motorboaters.
It's good stuff.
Finishes by saying, not only do I think we all deserve another epic early 20th century race story from you guys, because I did the Dole Air race. I was right into these sort of big and disastrous-ish races back then. Keen to do more of those. I'd forgotten about that as a genre. Says, I genuinely intend to search for the sunken boats at some point after finishing my PhD. Hunting for them would be too expensive to do as my PhD dissertation, but perhaps with the help of Dugon, the story can get more attention and maybe, just maybe, I can get someone to fund my research.
Wow.
Anyway, love you guys. Keep doing this forever, please. Like, actually, till you die. Or till I die. Well, all good things must come to an end, I suppose. One or the other. We're around the same age, except for Matt. He's old, but man, is he hot. Ooh, big finish. Appreciate that.
My God.
Wow.
And also says, please come to New Haven, Connecticut. He'll buy an entire row of seats. I don't know if New Haven, Connecticut, Dave, was on any of the American plans, but...
had it previously, but if we've sold 1 row, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
We should book a venue that's just really wide. So it's like 3 rows and they've all got 200 in them. Mate, we've got it in writing. You said a whole row.
Well, you said it, so
and
here's an invoice, champ.
If you don't buy that full row, what would you be?
A tight ass, probably, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much to Braden, Tamara, Paul, and Pete. The next thing we do is shout out to a few of our other great supporters. Jess normally comes up with a game based on the topic.
You'll never believe it. I've found a baseball team name generator.
No way.
But firstly, I need to ask you 2 things because you have to choose a category from each column and then it's going to do names from there. So the first one is agitated adjectives, fancy adjectives, goofy adjectives, or non-pro city names. So do you want it to start with a city name or a goofy adjective? Because those are my favourites.
Yeah. What do you... I reckon go with your heart, Bob. Because I don't
kind
know
of think
if I
maybe it'd be good
understand.
to have a name, like a city name.
Yes.
And then our other option is 80s, 90s players' last names. Sounds dirty but isn't.
Oh, it's hard to go past.
I know I've already selected that one, but I'll see if you guys change your mind.
Yeah, no, that
Motivating.
sounds
Oh.
good.
All right, great. Okay, submit.
And we could use the cities of what their cities they're already from.
True.
And then you can also use one of those other ones.
Nah, it's come up with some good stuff. So
Okay.
Great.
Dave, how about I do the place, you do the name, Jess does the team.
Love it.
All right. First up, I'd love to thank, oh my gosh, from Address Unknown, can only assume that they're from deep within the Fortress of the Moles.
It's Rahul Cleven or Rahul Cleven.
Holy shit, that's a good name.
picture for the Fort Wayne beaver traps.
Oh my God, yes.
I also have to select the one from each category, but every time, so we can mix it up.
Okay.
But it did start strong with Fort Wayne Beaver Traps.
Yes. I think you should just go with your heart each time. Just let the name guide you.
Yeah.
I'd also love to thank from Nashville, Tennessee.
It's Rebecca. And this is a few options here, Rebecca. Rebecca Gwylin. Rebecca Gwylin. Rebecca Julin.
Or do a really soft G one, like Egan.
Rebecca Ichlin.
Yeah, I think that could be it.
And Rebecca's from Nashville, right?
From Nashville.
It's the Nashville pickled Adams apples.
Oh, I hate it.
That one was goofy adjectives and non-sexual anatomy and medical conditions.
Yeah, wow.
I don't think I like that one.
No.
You just imagine
like
a jar of them.
Pickled Adams apples.
Oh, wow.
Awful. That's truly horrific, Jess.
Sorry.
Next up, I'd love to thank from Grafton in New South Wales, Australia.
Thank you, Matthew Whittingham.
Matthew Whittingham plays for the I don't know that one. Never mind. The Grafton Dictaphones.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I met Matthew he came to a few shows I did in Brisbane recently, and we had a drink after. And he's like he plays like the leading roles in musicals.
Oh, cool.
So maybe
Nice.
he's using the dictaphones for ideas. Really big song to finish, stuff like that. Idea for the musical. Ooh, finish with a bang. Yeah, okay, that's good stuff. Next up, I'd love to thank from Kelvin Grove in Queensland, Australia.
It's Grace.
Who plays for the Boynton Beach Trombones.
Boynton is so good. I love Boynton. Boynton
Trombones.
Beach. And Boynton and trombone, it feels like a trombone kind of Boynton.
I'm from Boynton.
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 Boynton Beach.
Grace, thank you so much. Next up from Olympia in Washington in the United States.
Thank you to Lisa Jackson.
Lisa Jackson plays for the Roanoke Drill Bits.
Oh, that's really good.
and their
Roanoke's
mascot-
the previous topic, wasn't it?
That's true. Mascot Drilly.
Yeah, it's the little drilly. Very cute. Big eyes. Very
That's his
cute.
catchphrase. I'd love to thank from Conroe in Texas in the United States.
It's Chris Taylor.
Who plays for the Belligerent Palookas.
What is a palooka?
Who knows?
I really like
I
it.
love it. And its mascot's catchphrase is zoo zoo. Thank you, Chris. From Berserker in Queensland, Australia.
Wow, Berserk. I've never heard of that. I love it. Emma McPherson.
Who plays for the Berserker Barnacles.
Oh, yeah. That's really
BB.
good.
The BBs.
And Matt, what's their
Count of barnacles.
mascot's slogan?
I'm in pain.
So there's Barry the Barnacle.
He's in a lot of pain.
He's just trying to get a bit of work combo going.
Next up from address unknown, can only assume from deep within the fortress of the moles.
It's Neve O'Connell.
Fantastic name. And a player from the Pensacola Axe Wielders.
And their mascot's catchphrase is, "You're in pain.
I'm going to kill you.
You're dead."
You're dead.
Thank
Last
you.
week they played Barry the Barnacle and beat him up. That's why he's in so
He's in a
much
lot of
pain.
Normally he's actually quite chipper.
And no
But he
one's
does
helping
need medical
him.
attention. Yeah, he does need help.
They all think, it's part of your shtick, but no. And finally, this week, I'd love to thank from Leeds in Great Britain.
Johnny Guckian. I'm giving a few options this week. Johnny Gookian.
Who plays for the Leeds Cockles.
Oh, yeah.
Leeds cockle.
Oh, wow.
Cock. That's what there's a chant they do. He goes, Lees, and they go, cock, cock,
Yeah,
cock.
cock, 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 cock. It's good stuff. I love sport.
And I love it.
We get sport, don't we?
We're a sporty pod.
Yeah.
Big time. Thank you so much to Johnny, Neve, Emma, Chris, Lisa, Grace, Matthew, Rebecca, and Raul. And finally, we've just got, before we head off, to induct a triptych of fantastic supporters into our triptych club, which Dave will explain so well.
Oh my goodness. This is our Theatre of the Mind / Hall of Fame, where people who have been on the shout-out level or above for 3 consecutive years, we welcome them in with a big ceremony every week, and they join the people who are already in the club because you can't leave, but why would you want to? Because inside there's entertainment, there's food, there's distractions from all the chaos of life, because this is just a fun hangout zone.
Yeah.
And,
you can see Jess in there in the food court, being quite dramatic.
Yeah, and you
Hoping to be
could
discovered.
say, wow, I'm going to cast her in my next feature film.
Yeah.
And I'll say, you wish you could afford me because I'm playing hardball.
Yeah. You can't, people just come by and all day long and going, geez, you've got a certain X factor.
And I say, yeah, no shit. Come to me when you got a big novelty-sized check and then we'll fucking talk. But if you're just here to compliment me, keep walking, you fugly loser.
And you're saying to these people in the Triptych Club.
No. I'm saying it with my eyes.
Yes, in character. But then
In character. And then I say,
you
and
wink.
scene. Can I
and
get you
do-
anything from the bar, I say? I'm very nice.
Because there is a bar and you're behind it.
Yep.
You normally have like a special drink, a cocktail on theme? What's the Rube Waddell cocktail?
Beer.
Oh, yeah.
And food-wise, let me ask you a question. Let me just say, hot dogs! Get your hot dogs!
Really?
Yeah, I'm walking around. I've got hot dogs.
How?
And I need you to take them off me because they are incredibly hot.
Wow.
And that is
They're
a question.
actually hot dogs.
They're burning.
Let me ask you a question. Hot dogs, get your hot dogs.
How about you shut up? How about that? How about you shut up, you fugly loser? I've had enough of you.
Can we turn this screen off?
I can't look at him anymore. He's repulsive.
And I've got the pretty filter on.
It's not helping.
Yeah. I got to turn it up to maximum. How about now?
Oh, wow.
That it is. Is this okay?
You look beautiful.
Dave,
is so sexy.
Do you normally book a band? Am I remembering this right? For the after
Yes, I
party?
always book a band, and I book these months, weeks, sometimes years in advance. These are big international acts that tour all over the world. And this week, you're never going to believe who I've booked. It's the Rubens.
Whoa!
What are the chances?
Whoa,
Said
whoa.
everything. Get back, never get back too soon.
That's right. Their number one Triple J Hottest 100 song.
Wow.
They'll be playing it over and over and over again.
I welcome it.
But
And then a greatest hit set.
Hoops, but they changed that because I assume Hoops is about basketball. They changed it to, they do a baseball version of it.
It's about earrings, you idiot.
What? All right. So I'm on the door. I've got
Come on, you
the.
fucking idiot. What was he thinking? Oh, God. Hoops. Come on.
Oh, I think that's about basketball. Shut up!
Oh, do you hear yourself through those headphones?
I told you I've had enough of you. Shut up!
I mean, I hear the message. It's just somehow not getting through. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. All right. So I'm so sorry, Jess. I do have to just talk a little bit longer. So I'm on the door.
Makes me sick.
This is Theatre of the Mind. I got the clipboard. I got 3 names on it. If you hear your name, come on in. Dave's up on stage. He's going to hype you up with some weak wordplay. He's emceeing the night. Obviously, hang around to see the Rubens afterwards. Jess is also hyping up Dave. If you haven't listened to this section of the show before, Dave's, he's not the most confident man. That's ironic. He is the most confident man. So Jess has to hype him up a little bit. And so Dave, you ready to go?
Let's rock.
All right. First up,
That's an unconfident man.
let's welcome in from Belgowla in New South Wales, Australia. It's Courtney.
Recently, the person who's taught me the most about myself, it's Courtney.
Oh, a bit of introspection from Courtney.
Pew, pew, nice, pew. Thank you.
Zoo, zoo, zoo. Oh, Drilly's here. Next up, thank you so much, Courtney. Next up from address unknown, can only assume from deep within the fortress of the moles, it's Josh Hillman.
There's only one hill that this man will die on, and that's defending Josh Hillman.
I want to die on you, Josh.
I'm in pain. Oh my God. Like Barnacle Bill's here too. And
we're actually doing fine by ourselves. That's the thing. We're actually doing okay, and you're ruining the flow.
And finally, from Palatine in Illinois in the United States, it's Emily, Austria.
My favourite Austrian. They're not even from Austria. It's Emily, Austria. Woo!
Who's your least favourite Austrian?
Oh, gosh, there's so many bad ones.
Well, I think there's one pretty famous bad one I'd go with.
There's some really bad ones, though. They know what they did.
You're not going to put one out in front? Okay. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. Thanks so much to Emily, Josh and Courtney. Welcome to the Trip Ditch Club. Make yourselves at home. Hang around for the Rubens afterwards and let's party all night long. And also get your hot dogs. Jess, is there anything we need to tell people before we finish up?
I just want you to shut the fuck up. I don't. He keeps talking to me.
He just keeps talking.
I don't
sorry.
understand.
I don't know how to throw to you without words. I'm on an audio medium. I'm sorry.
Shush. Just shush. All I want to say is that if people want to suggest a topic, they can. There's a link in the show notes. It's also on our website, which is dogoonpod.com. And please find us on social media, Do Go On Pod, across Instagram, Facebook. You can find us at Do Go On Podcast on TikTok. You can see probably that clip of me yelling at Matt realistically is going to be on there.
Yep.
And also to note that we love you.
Yes.
That's all I have to say. Now, Dave, boot this baby home.
Can I be so forward to say that the Melbourne International Comedy Festival kicks off next week? Matt and I are both doing our shows. We'd love to see you there. And we're all doing one night only, Do Go On the Quiz Show live at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival Festival Club, Wednesday, April 2nd at 11 p.m. And man, are we planning on having a good time.
Oh man, so pumped. So pumped.
I'd love to see you there if you're in and around Melbourne. But apart from that, thank you so much for listening. And until next week, it's goodbye.
Laters.
Bye.
G'day, America. It's Tony and Ryan from the Tony and Ryan podcast from Down Under.
This episode is sponsored by Boost Mobile, the newest 5G network in the country.
These guys are no longer the prepaid wireless company you might remember. They've invested billions into building their own 5G towers across America, transforming the carrier into America's fourth major network alongside the other big dogs.
Yep, they're challenging the competitors by working harder and smarter, like this amazing new network they've literally built. They have blazing fast 5G and plans for all the latest devices. Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store or find them online at boostmobile.com.
Don't forget to sign up to our tour mailing list so we know where in the world you are and we can come and tell you when we're coming there.
Wherever we go, we always hear 6 months later, oh, you should come to Manchester. We were just in Manchester.
We were just there, but this way you'll never miss out. And don't forget to sign up, go to our Instagram, click our link tree. Very, very easy.
It means we know to come to you, and you'll also know that we're coming to you.
Yeah, we'll come to you, you come to us. Very good.
And we give you a spam-free guarantee.